Hi, and welcome to another edition of the LMA CI Practitioners Corner. Really excited to have Blair with us today, who is a senior competitive intelligence analyst with Venable. Blair actually recently joined an LMA webinar focused on how CI professionals are leveraging AI and began speaking about an exciting project that she was working on. So Blair would love you to tell us a little bit more about what prompted you to begin looking into some of these AI pieces and the project you're working on and how you've been able to solve it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Rachel, for having me. I am always thrilled to chat all things AI and would love to share, what I've learned and safe to say my trial and error approach. So it started as I wanted to create a competitive intelligence newsletter, particularly focused on sort of consistently tracking various industry developments across multiple sectors. And as I'm sure a lot of people know, doing this manually is very time intensive and can also lead to sort of like an information overload or even missed opportunities and missed news. So, particularly as I was doing this initiative myself, but I wasn't necessarily satisfied with a lot of the options of the news alert programs out there that would guide this research. And I was particularly dissatisfied with how generic and not customizable they were to my exact needs. So I thought, what if I could do this myself? What if I could build my own system that automates the monitoring filters for what's most relevant and organizes it in a way that I can quickly navigate? So we built a competitive intelligence news tracker that pulls in news by industry, applies a legal relevance filter and sort of rates it based on its relevance, and writes results automatically filling into a Google Sheet, and automatically organizing each output by each industry in all of the different tabs. So now with this, I can spend more time on analysis and strategy, not just gathering the news.
That's awesome and a really exciting project, Blair. So I know so many people don't even know kind of where to begin, what resources to go to. So what sort of experience did you have in this space? And I think so much of this is honestly just having like the curiosity to begin looking. So I know others would be interested to know kind of what resources out there you began to leverage and where they might be able to begin.
Yeah, and that's a great question, Rachel, because that's the best part. I really don't have any coding experience whatsoever. My background is in research and analysis, not computer science. So this all started back in May. I attended a hackathon in San Francisco, which was so far out of my comfort zone. I was the only non-technical person there and probably one of I think three women of over 200 people. So very uncomfortable space, but I knew I was so curious and about the space, and instead of being intimidated, I really wanted to lean into this curiosity. So at this event, I learned how to, as they call, vibe code, meaning I used ChatGPT and would feed in what I wanted and iterate code line by line. So asking questions, breaking things down, and ultimately, once you start doing this, you sort of start to recognize patterns and you start to really see the simplicity of it. It really learning how to code and realizing I can do this myself really just opened so many doors and got so many wheels spinning for me and realizing how many things I want to do with it. So fast forward a month or so, when I first thought of this project, I relied mostly on free, accessible resources. So ChatGPT for guidance, and then the main one was Google Colab for running the Python code. And then, of course, my own sort of brainstorming and vision of what I wanted the outcome to look like. And of course, this changes. But I will definitely say it took a lot of curiosity and persistence. And, like I said earlier, the trial and error approach is really the only way with this. I lost track of how many iterations I went through, but you don't need to be a technical expert to build something impactful. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, Blair. I think there's so many good little tidbits and lessons learned for folks listening. Just getting out of your comfort zone. You got to start somewhere. There's so many free, accessible resources. And something like this is always evolving. So just having kind of the curiosity to begin a project like this and leaning on other resources is wonderful. So I'll kind of speak for Blair. I'm sure for those listening, you can reach out, ask her questions. I think this is such an exciting project. There's so many interesting things that people are doing in this space. So I really appreciate you sharing today.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to share.